science fiction, fantasy. Hey, you got sci-fi in my fantasy. You got fantasy in my sci-fi.
What? Delicious.
Split Fiction is an action-adventure puzzle game from Hazelight Studios that must be played cooperatively. Apparently, coming off the success of their hit game It Takes Two wasn't enough, and they have returned with a game that is almost as touching and entertaining. Split Fiction is the story of two women, Mio and Zoe, who are aspiring writers trying to get published. Each has their own reasons for doing so that the story explores in time, but both are optimistic at the prospect of having their writing picked up by a publishing company. They arrive at a company called Raider, a tech company that has given both women the promise of publishing their works, an offer that could change their lives. What they find is that Raider has actually presented this same offer to many people. However, this isn't a normal publishing company, and Mio figures this out very quickly as everyone is being fitted for suits and put into weird machines. It turns out that the machines are stealing all of the ideas from these writers, not just the ones that they came to submit, and the company will use them to write its own stories. But let's be honest, the comparison to generative AI stealing art is kind of on the nose here. As our characters are told to enter these machines, Mio has a freak out and refuses to enter. While she doesn't know that the company is stealing the ideas, she senses something wrong about the whole situation and tries to leave. A struggle ensues, and Mio falls into the same machine as Zoe. These machines put our characters into the worlds that they created in their stories, but the problem is that the machines are only built for one person at a time, and when Mio enters Zoe's pod, it begins to break the system. Think of these machines as something like the Animus from Assassin's Creed, but for personal stories. Mio stumbles into the fantasy world that Zoe created, and our adventure begins. What follows is a story of adventure and inner turmoil through many different worlds. Mio loves sci-fi, and Zoe loves fantasy, and the worlds flip between the two. The levels are incredible. The art direction is fantastic in Split Fiction, and the absolute creativity from this studio is on full display. It Takes Two was also a creative joy to play, and it's nice to find that the same spark hasn't dried up from these devs. The main plot is more serious in overall tone than It Takes Two, but that's not to say there isn't some levity throughout the game. All through the story, there are side stories you can find and complete. These stories are usually a little jaunt through one of the earlier ideas of one of the characters. One moment you're fighting as a cyber ninja, and then you hit a side story and you're a pig that's farting in order to fly. I love it. I don't think the story has quite the same impact that It Takes Two did, but the emotion is there. Mio is a very harsh woman at the beginning, pissed off at the world, at the situation, at herself, everything. She's very cold towards Zoe, and even downright mean to her, but for a reason. Even the lighthearted and fairy-loving Zoe will have realizations about her own trauma that you'll have to explore. This is a stark difference to It Takes Two because these people don't know each other in Split Fiction. They aren't married, and so the partner dynamic starts off differently. Think of it along the lines more of A Way Out than It Takes Two. From trying to stop a black hole to transforming into a monkey to defeat an evil ice lord, there's a lot going on here. If you played It Takes Two, you'll be familiar with the layout of this game. Every level begins roughly the same way. You're dropped off in an area, you're given new abilities, and you have to make your way through puzzles and platforming to get to the end of the zone. Each level is unique in that there's a new mechanic introduced every time. This helps to keep the game from becoming dull. During one sci-fi section, you'll be shooting in a third-person shooter fashion, and then boom, the game turns into a side-scroller shooter to mix it up. Mechanics can also change per character as well. Mio can change into a monkey or a weird, scaly otter in one of the fantasy sections, while Zoe can turn into a giant tree ant or a tiny fairy, and the puzzles reflect these changes. This helps with replayability to let you try out the other character that you may not have played. Outside of those unique level-specific mechanics, the basic movements are running, sprinting, double jumping, dashing, wall running, and using a grappling hook. That will get you through most of the game. All of this is punctuated with new zones, puzzles, and boss battles. Boss battles in this game are fun and maybe a little less silly than It Takes Two, but they can still be silly. I never really hit a point where I found the puzzles to be super complicated, but the challenge comes from the co-op part of the game. Puzzles require 2 players to help each other along, and if your partner is having issues, so are you. You'll be working together in your own time, but there are sections that are a little faster and require precise timing. For instance, there's a section where you're playing as 2 ball drones, and the game turns into a pinball style mode where you have to use paddles to bounce your partner to new areas. This requires both timing and speed in many cases, and if one of you sucks, you both suck. Bosses act in the same way. Typically, you'll do damage to a boss together with the help of your partner. These bosses will almost always require the unique mechanic from the level to be used to defeat them. But I can't force my friend to buy a copy to play with me, you cry in a whiny voice. Don't worry, because there's a friend pass for this game, just like their last few games. Only one person needs to buy the game, and all the friend has to do is download the game through the friend pass. The owner invites the friend to play, and boom, both people are playing. It's a very generous system, and I think it's great. Hazelight has seemed to perfect their style of co-op genre. You'll see in the video that you can see each other's screen, even online, and that's so you can help each other. This is even used in some parts of the game for story effect, with both screens coming together at times. Other times, it becomes part of the mechanics itself. The art direction needs to be applauded. There were times, specifically near the beginning of a new zone, where I just wanted to wait and look around. The game knows it's pretty, and there are some vistas that allow you to take it all in. The devs are clearly fans of other games, and the little nods and references to other games is all throughout the story.
Listen up, soldiers! This is Operation Final Dawn! Tonight, we go down in history! It is a toxic!
Get ready to drop. What? We're gonna get hit by a rocket any second, and everyone will die. Everyone will die!
What? We're all gonna die?
Oh, no, don't listen to her. Everything is gonna be fine. We're all gonna be fine.
Hey, if I die, please tell my wife and my son that I love them.
Really, Mio?
Our mission! Seek and destroy the source of the toxin! Are we clear?
Hoorah!
Oh my God! Zoe, drop! I'm not doing this! Push the button!
We drop in T-minus 60 seconds!
No! No!
Voice acting and performances were great. The facial animation was also particularly good. Performance for me was great. I'm running on an RTX 4070, i7 13700K, and 64 gigs of RAM. I played on high settings with TAA. There was no DLSS option, but there is an option for FSR that I did not use. Even then, I rarely dropped below 120 FPS, and the game ran smooth as butter. Those were all the good things. I wouldn't say that there's anything in the game that I would classify as being bad, but I think the story is just okay for the most part. Like I said, I don't think it hits the same level as It Takes Two. Mio and Zoe took a lot more for me to warm up to than the mother and father from ITT. It also takes a little while before they really start to warm up to each other as well. And the whole time, I just hated the way Mio acted until she made that transition. I also think that personally, some of the levels felt a little lengthy around the mid-game. Not to say that I disliked the levels or the puzzles, but there was one section in particular in a sci-fi section that felt like it lasted quite a lot longer than other sections, and I was tired of looking at the same sort of paneled walls and whatnot for a long time. Even though it ends in a really cool jet ski escape, getting to that point felt lengthy. Once again, I have to iterate. It wasn't bad, just that it started to overstay its welcome. I think that the bad guy, Raider, was a little one-dimensional for a bad guy and didn't really come off as all that menacing. He kind of gave off the same vibe as the nerdy general that turned into Ares from the first Wonder Woman movie. He was super powerful, sure, but goofy as hell, and honestly, I couldn't take him seriously as a bad guy.
Then I will destroy you!
I also think that they went a little generic with some of the naming. Personally, I was kind of bothered by the fact that the machine they were using the whole time to steal ideas was just called The Machine the whole time. That's a personal pet peeve, but it's whatever. But you know what's not a personal pet peeve? You clicking the like button and subscribing to my channel. And that's Split Fiction. It's a fun co-op romp with a friend that takes you through many creative worlds and is a super enjoyable time. It took my friend and I around 14 hours to beat the game, which was about the same time that it took for us to beat It Takes Two. Your times may vary based on how good you are or aren't at the puzzles. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching my review for Split Fiction. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you all in the next one.